Hi guys, thank you for supporting my YouTube channel, The Simple Life. So now we're talk about travel advice in Colombia. So this video is more on money advice. And just to let you know guys that we filmed this video last year 2021 when we was in the Colombia for our honeymoon. So here's the video and I hope you can learn from this. Thank you for watching.
Thank you everyone for being here. Today we're talking money, guys. Okay?
Yes.
Do you know about the money here?
Not really, but since 1 month, I know.
So tell them about what you've learned about the money. Is it pretty simple?
It's simple.
It's simple, everyone. It's just you guys have to understand and just once you get the basic bills down, it'll be real easy for you guys to do the conversion in your head. And we're going to speak about that. And before we get into that, we're going to go ahead and speak about the most important part of money here in Colombia is they don't accept dollars, guys.
Yes, exactly.
Like nowhere. So any one of you guys that have ever been to Tijuana, have ever been out there for any vacation or anything like that, you guys automatically know that in Tijuana, dollars and Mexican pesos are interchangeable pretty much. And any location out there will pretty much either take a dollar bill or a peso. Not the case in Colombia. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
So right off the bat, I'm living here for about 2 years with me and my dog, traveling all over the country. Pre-COVID, we're talking last time I was here was 2019. We're now in 2021. This is April, March? We're in March 2021. And things have changed. Things definitely have changed because of the pandemic. You know what I mean? Got the mask, but you know, things have changed because of the pandemic. But guys, as far as the whole banking and changing money thing, that has changed as well. Okay, and let me just break down off the gate. A lot of things have changed. Let's go. First thing you want to know when you arrive to Medellin at the airport, guys.
Yes, better you get changed at the airport.
Yes, right off the gate. Don't worry about conversion rates. Don't worry about saving a couple nickels, a couple pennies here and there, guys. You're a taxi driver, and don't think your hotel will change your U.S. currency either.
They never change, right?
They will not.
Yes.
Back in the days, we're talking just a couple years ago, pre-pandemic, you can go, if you were in a decent hotel like us, you can definitely go to the front desk, say, I'm a guest here and I would like to change the money. They would give you kind of like a shittier rate, but they would do it, guys. Not the case anymore, people. No hotels are changing money. They have changed some laws here as concerning that. So it's a little different. So right off the gate, when you go and get your bags, you're gonna pass through a little area in the airport in Medellin where they're going to try to sell you alcohol and things like that. Before you leave that area where all the bags are, change some money there, because once you go past that door and past that last check, you can't come back in, guys.
Yes.
And it will be a nightmare trying to get money and trying to get someone to accept it. Or even if you have to go change it somewhere, do you trust that taxi driver with all your bags in that car? Because he sure as hell will not trust you to leave that vehicle with all your bags. So just keep that in mind, people. So right off the gate, I would swap out a few $100s or hit an ATM. You know what I mean? If you're coming here with cash money, that's what you got to do at the airport. If you're coming here and just swiping your ATM and getting those currency charges, and we'll talk about that in a further episode, how to avoid getting charged high fees for your international transactions and withdrawals. We'll talk about that in another episode, but I'll let you know about that as well. But right off the gate, you'll want to change money. After you do that, you're in town, and let's say, for instance, you want to get more currency changed in the future, you will have to go to some location like that has a Western Union service. Okay, guys? So the most common out here is
Exito. It's like a
Exito.
mall.
It is.
Yes.
Exito in like the US, you could think like an Albertsons, you could think like a Save More, you know, something like that, to that effect. It's a big grocery store, but they also have a little section where they have a Western Union counter. Now, sounds simple enough, guys, but I'll tell you right off the gate, they have some weird kind of limit daily of the amount of dollars they can change. So we learned that firsthand when we went to an Exito closer to the one we normally go to.
The first mall.
We got there to the Western Union and they said that their limit for accepting dollars that day was reached. So we had to find another location.
Yes.
So just keep that in mind, people, please. Like, don't be upset, don't get mad. The last thing you want to do out here is pull a scandalo. And a scandalo, I'll do another terms video, but a scandalo is basically a scandal and making a scene. That is the worst way to present yourself out here, and people will get upset with you guys. The people out here in Medellin, Colombia are some of the coolest, most tranquil, respectful, honest people you'll ever meet. But if you start making a scene, like a typical, you know, like an American, like, what do you mean I can't change money? What?
Like flipping out.
If you start flipping out, you'll start getting dirty looks, and people will not be kind to you at that point. You know, just to give you the heads up, because I have done it. When I was here years ago, the first month, you know, it happened to me a couple times, and I had to learn the culture out here, and it's not tolerated or accepted, guys. So just off the gate, politely ask, where's another location? And they'll tell you, they're very kind, they'll let you know, and hit the other location. You know, hop in a taxi and hit the other location.
Yes, and it's better to go early, right?
Yes, that's the other thing. Thank you. Better to go early in the morning,
Early in the
guys.
morning.
So if you guys can get there at 8:30, 9 o'clock, there may be a little line, there may be a good 5-6 people waiting, but it's worth it to go early, because then you're pretty much assured that they'll have that money changed for you. So back in the days, you can go to banks, you can change them at hotels, you can change them even at high-end bars. They would accept dollar bills and give you change in pesos, Colombian pesos. At the moment, that's not the case anymore. So something has changed here with the law. On that note, there's different bills, right?
Different bills.
And you gotta know what bills work. And think of it as the $100 bill going to pay for a stick of gum theory, okay? A stick of gum may cost $1 and you're going in there with a $100 bill.
Yes.
Some stores may not want to break that or do that change, right? Well, think that times 3 here in Medellin, Colombia, guys, okay? People don't roll around with tons of money like that. Even taxi drivers, even little shops, even, you know, stores like that. If you're going to a little corner store, if you're out in Poblado, the tourist area, and you're out night on the town, anywhere you go out there, any of those locations, they'll have change for you. I'm not talking that. I'm talking if you're living in a local area, when you have local shops, or you have a local fruit vendor, you know, cup of juice that costs 2,000 pesos, which is about 60 cents. They're not gonna have change for a 50,000 bill, okay? They probably won't even have change for a 20,000 bill, guys. So this is really important. When you guys get your change from the money exchange place, make sure, and we'll show you right now what we're talking about, the different bills, the hundreds, the 20s, the 50s, the 10s. Make sure they don't slap you with a bunch of those 100 bills, because you will literally not be able to spend those anywhere unless it's like with a girl, or like you're paying for a hotel room, or a high-end restaurant. Like, we're not talking a local 15,000 a plate meal. We're talking a high-end restaurant where you're spending a couple 100,000 pesos, like 50, 60 bucks. So right off the gate, guys, also, if they try to slam you with 50 notes, 50,000 notes, just all of them, I would generally suggest to half it up. So get half 20,000 notes, because those spend the easiest out here. If you hop in a taxi, even if your taxi ride, and guys, no taxi ride out here will be more than 18 to 20,000 pesos max. I'm talking a long ass distance. Keep in mind, even if you slap them with a 50, they might not have change.
Yes.
So then and it happened to us.
Exactly. Yes.
You know, and it's happened to me in the past. And on top of that, guys, there's a scam that they do with the 50s, and I'm not talking all taxi drivers, and I'll tell you exactly where and how. We got an episode coming up on scams. I'll break that one down for you, but it's real interesting, and it's done with that 50,000 note. I'll explain it to you in that other episode. But split up your money, guys. Try to get 50s and 20s. Even try to get some 10s. Ask them, hey, can I get a few $100,000, like $100 in 10s, or you know, whatever, and that spends way more legit and easy. You'll never have no scam issues. You won't have no change issues, guys. It's always better to give smaller bills and bigger bills, you know what I mean? And that's for your own safety, and especially dealing in local areas, especially if you don't know the money out here.
Exactly.
All right, so plus, if you're not good with numbers, for instance, I'm going to give you guys a super pro tip. Luckily, my wife, she speaks Cebuano, Bisaya, so the numbers are the same.
It's the same.
Numbers in Cebuano are the same in Spanish. But if you guys, for instance, are just speaking English, you don't know Spanish numbers, let's say and everyone is honest here, everyone is honest, but just to tell you, just to keep yourself safe, if you go somewhere in some local area and you're buying something, and they give you a price, and you don't know what they said, and you're slapping them with a 50 bill, there's a higher chance you might get less change than you should get, all right? It's always better to give them maybe a small bill and them telling you, oh, not enough, and you adding another bill, than for you just giving them the highest denomination bill, and you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that will happen. I'm just saying if you're going to some parts of town or dealing with some, you know, people, they may do that, you know? And that's generally in the tourist area, guys, just to keep that in mind. In the local area, that generally does not happen. And the most honest people right here.
Yes.
And the sweetest, and just the most respectful. So I hope that was informative for you guys. What do you think? Anything you want to say? All right, everybody. So just to show you, this right here is 100,000 pesos. Okay, guys? 100,000 pesos. The way people talk though here money, they'd say 100. That means 100,000 in general. So you just kind of take off the meal. You know what I mean? That's how people talk here. 50, 20, 5, 2. You could just take off the 1,000 at the end. But this basically right here is worth 30 bucks, $35 at today's exchange rate, guys. Just to tell you, you can see it's super fresh. You never see these, guys. Nobody ever see these. These don't get spent regularly. It'll be very hard for you to walk into any grocery store and spend that. If you were like at a nice restaurant, fancy restaurant, a nice club, you could probably use one of these. But there is no way you'd be able to use this in a taxi or in any like local grocery store. They will just not take it. First of all, they don't get many of them. They don't know what to look for if it's fake. Second of all, they just don't be having change like that out here, guys. Now, there is a 50,000 bill. We don't currently have it. But the 20 right here, that's probably worth like $7 at today's exchange rate, something like that. So the 20, I would definitely, when you're going to get change, guys, get a stack of these. You know what I mean? We had a stack of them. We had like a couple million in 20s. This is the way to go. This is what you'll want to hop into to pay for an in-driver, to pay for a taxi, an Uber, pay for a pickup, any kind of food, anything. Most people will have change for a 20. But like the local street vendor guys that's selling like the little glass of orange juice for the 1,000 pesos probably will not have change for this 20. So keep that in mind. 10. If you can get 10 bills, these spend very easy here, guys. and this is the way to go. A lot of things are like in the 2,300 to 7,000 peso range. So if you have a 10, you'll always make sure to get change. Very easy to spot. Definitely bill that I like to have in my pocket is this. The 20s for sure, because this is the easiest spendable. There is a 50 which you could use and spend in most places, grocery stores, things like that. But as far as taxis, I would never go in a taxi with the 50. As we have learned, you cannot, they just don't have change. 5,000 pesos, guys, that's about $1.50 just about. Okay, keep that in mind. Then you got the 2,000 pesos. You got the new bill right here and the old bill. Okay, there is a 1,000 peso note. There's a 1,000 peso note, but that's very rare. Don't get it confused with the 10,000 peso note. You know what I'm saying? But there is a 1,000, just to show you kind of the general bills, what they look for. I definitely would rock a bunch of 20s. Just have 20s with you handy. 10s also spend really well. The 50s as well, if you're going to restaurants and spending 30, 40,000 on a meal. But these hundreds, guys, trust me, these are the hardest things you guys could ever spend here. Like literally, unless you're paying some girls, you know what I mean, for a night out or whatever. Or in some like seedy bar, some shady bar. These are the hardest things to spend, guys. So I would definitely recommend, if they ever try to give you hundreds, I would definitely maybe just take one as a memento, but I would definitely say no. Please give me some 50s and 20s. So that's a quick breakdown.
No, nothing.
Hope that was informative for you guys. We're going to put out a few more videos, give you guys kind of an idea of what Medellin in general is, and thank you for stopping by, and
Thank you.
peace.